trailer with that incredibly cool shot of the bike cutting that cop car in half.
Dude, the the
Dang.
the fucking life cycles in the real world. I'm like, fucking give it to me. Give it to me right now. Like you
Spicy,
slice
man.
that cop car in half. I'm there. Let's fucking go.
Thank you, Pharaoh, for letting me know that this didn't go live again. Yeah,
It went live on yours, not on the regular one.
I think I need to wait like a beat between having that go live and having this go live. I just wrote the wrong episode number. That's fine.
Yeah.
It's episode 911.
Do we know when fucking Tron Ares comes out, by the way?
I think it's this year. Let me look.
Because like,
if I spell Aries correctly.
I need to go. I need to watch
October
the fucking
10th.
last one.
October 10th
Well,
of this
not
year.
bad.
That's not bad. Maybe I'll have my paperwork in order by that point.
That new Jurassic Park movie's supposed to be out this summer too.
I'm like 6 Jurassic Park movies behind.
Oh
at this
my
point,
God,
is
me
the
too.
problem.
Yeah.
I
It's like
think
it's weird.
I can tell
'cause
you. I can tell you. I've seen the first 3 because I own them. I've
Mhm.
seen
And
the
best three.
first World Jurassic Park movie because I brought my wife to that, and she was not impressed. And I was like, "Well, maybe next time we'll just get you super drunk or something." I don't know. There wasn't a next time.
Go
That's
to
how.
go to an AMC and get one of the special Jurassic cocktails.
But my son is like super geeked out about the one that's coming out this summer. I'm like, I'll take you.
Like,
I'm up for a popcorn movie. Why not?
It's one of those like franchises or films that just kept trucking away in the background, and then before I knew it, there's 15 that I haven't seen.
Right, and you're like, how many?
Godzilla and King Kong movies are the same. I'm like, oh, I really want to do them for a Critical
Right.
Miss this season. Wait, there's 9 of them?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah, 9 like modern ones.
Yeah, and it's just
Yeah.
like, uh-oh.
Oh man, yeah. Yep. Okay, are you guys ready? Oh, I wrote a note in the show notes. I don't want us to talk about the Switch 2 price until the
till the
very
end.
end of
Yeah.
the Switch 2 section. That's the capstone.
Yep.
So,
Is it worth talking about the price if it's going to change?
100%. Because
That's why we're talking about it.
it sort of educates a lot of the system overall, and then dovetails into the late breaking news story. So
I would literally look at the show notes like, where's my Switch 2 notes? And then I realized I have last week's show notes open.
there you go. All right,
Don't worry, Moon. It's emboldened and underlined,
that's right.
and he's got exclamation points. Oh no, they're just lines. Never mind. They look like exclamation points in front and aft.
I could put some in there if you want. Yeah.
It's the old square brackets. My
That's right.
favorite brackets.
Yep. Yeah. All right. Are you guys ready to get started?
Yeah.
Sure.
All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Welcome back to another episode of That Video Game Podcast, aka TVGP. I'm your host, Boston, and joining me as always is Moonpair
Hi.
and the Nymph.
Hello.
Let's do a quick promotion here for Patreon over at e1m1.cash.
Yeah. Give me the money.
You still doing the ones or numbers for that?
I mean, we should. Moon.
Yeah, the ones and numbers.
There you
Fine.
go.
There you go.
We can't start the show without it. It's tradition here.
It's tradition.
Yeah. At the moment, that just directs over to the Patreon page. Who knows where it will go in the future? Nowhere horrible. It will go to somewhere where you can support us financially. At the moment, like I said, goes to Patreon. You can get sign up for $5 a month. It is fun for $5, like the page says. That gets you everything. Anything above and beyond that is greatly appreciated. But that gets you exclusive access to the Outcast, the uncensored exclusive stuff where we're talking about a whole bunch of stuff this week, like being sick, Wegmans, putting an IKEA bed together. I forgot there were some dad jokes again. Tron Ares, all the normal,
The usual.
normal topics here. Yeah.
The good bits.
Yeah, all the I guess sort of unexpectedly, actually all normal stuff for the Outcast to talk about. So
I
you
had
get
to
that.
put I had to put the cat back on my Faygo because my room was smelling too much like bubblegum and it's giving me a headache.
That's how you
Yeah.
know the Faygo's good. It's giving you a little bit of headache. Yeah. It gets you early access to We Roguelike It and Critical Misses, and gets you exclusive access to the $5 a month tier. Gets you exclusive access to the Critical Misses production meeting, and the Wayward Sons, the supernatural TV show watchcast the Moon and Nymph are going through. All of that over at e1n1.cash.
The ones and numbers. Also support us orally. Tell your friends. Rate,
That's right.
review.
That's right. Great way of phrasing that. Thank you. Moon,
Yeah.
what have you been playing this past week?
You started phrasing it like that, not me.
I don't know what you're talking about. I am
The very
innocent,
first time,
a mere babe.
very first time you said that, I lost it on the cast, and I had to mute myself because I'm literally laughing so hard.
I get
was
one.
trying not to laugh.
I get one every once in a while.
Trying to not make the joke that would get me banned.
That's right. That's right.
Anyway, yes. Other than We Roguelike It games, other than
Yep.
Game Club games, which is next week, the week after.
Not this 2 weeks. Yeah.
Okay.
Not
Th-
this
yeah.
2 weeks.
I had a moment of just like, nope. Yeah.
Oh, listen, my brain is a melted nightmare right now, as the gentleman can appreciate. This was not recorded, so you don't know
Yeah.
why it's melted. Let's just say it
A
is.
lot of stuff going on. Yeah.
Yes.
I'm still hopped up on meds, so
Oh, yeah, dude, me too. So yeah, other than that, I've really only played one other game, and I'm pretty sure it's a game that we've all played.
Mm-hmm.
So let's start the show off with Assassin's Creed Shadows. I almost said Origins, then I almost said Valhalla, then I got it correct, and it
It's
was
one of
Shadows.
those. Mine is probably the shortest here. I only had maybe half an hour to play it this week, and I got to the headquarters and built my first building and put the painting I made of the Tanuki in there, which actually gave me a trophy. And I said, dang, that's pretty cool. Anyways, gotta go.
And it also kind of looks like a Tanuki. That's a
Sort
bad
of
painting.
If you could tell me that it was like a hog, I'd be like, yeah, I could buy that. But
yeah.
Mhm.
yeah.
Okay,
Actually,
so
I
you
really
played a
like
little
the
bit.
Yeah.
Nymph, how are you doing? We haven't had a chance to talk to
So-
you about this game yet.
I did get to very briefly listen to last week's episode. So to catch everyone up, I am playing on my PC.
Mm-hmm.
I am non-guided,
Okay.
and I am not playing immersion because I started immersion. I was too sick to deal with the Japanese and the Portuguese and
Right.
some other languages at the exact same time flashing
Yeah,
on the
and
screen.
all
It's
the
no,
subtitles.
This has to be English right now. I
Yep.
cannot read this fast right now. So I am doing it in English right now.
And then, what's your canon mode choice? Are you canon mode, yay or nay?
I am picking choices.
Okay.
Okay.
So, yep.
You got
So,
full thread here.
yeah, I have taken out 3 of the main people you're looking for.
Okay.
If
Moon,
that's
you
how
were
we're
right.
measuring.
That whole menu where you see all the characters and
It's
like
so cool.
that's really cool, man. That's
It is cool, but
Yeah.
every once in a while, like when you're looking for like a side quest or something, it's like, where's the stupid icon for this stupid quest?
yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
So I will say I love how that expands. So it's like one big circle in the middle, and then it's just like I've got like 19 little circles around the
that's
big
cool.
circle now, and it's just like, okay, so these are all like little mini Assassin's Creed games I'm playing within the Assassin's Creed game,
Right.
which
Yep.
it's really cool. But yes, you've taken out 3 people. Okay, so
I've taken, as far as
the
I know,
first one, and then the 2 other ones who lead you to the hideout, I believe. That's when you get to the
Yeah,
no,
you-
hideout. The hideout takes you to the first 2, or the
Yeah, it
second.
kind of like gives you a
the
suggestion
second
of
and the
like,
third.
here are the general. I'm playing without guided mode, so that gives you like the 3 highlights of like it's west of this shrine and it's south of here. And
Mhm.
you need to go talk
Okay,
to
so we're all
somebody.
in that direction.
Yeah, so like you get those 2, and it's basically like go do whichever you want, or like go do a bunch of other stuff. Like I don't really care, but here's your kind of main objective.
know
So I will
there's-
say, when you are in that objective menu, if you highlight somebody or a quest, or like this question mark person has a quest directly underneath them,
Mhm.
if you're highlighting that quest, it does tell you the level in the top right corner of
it
the
does, yeah.
information screen. Very important to pay attention to that, so you don't go riding off into a level 35 zone and just get worked.
Ah,
I will
Assassin's
say that
Creed.
from experience.
I was trying to do one of those weekly because they've got like those weekly or daily challenges or whatever.
Right.
Yeah, so
I
you can make progress on
just
the season pass.
yeah, I
Mhm.
just figured that out yesterday. What those were.
Oh, okay.
And I got one of those missions where it's like, oh yeah, it's over here. Go take care of this person, and then I wasn't paying attention. Yeah, they were level 35, and I was like
Oh, boy.
9, so that did not go well.
Yeah. You also get
Yup.
introduced in the headquarters to the like sending out people, the version of like sending
Yeah,
out
scouts.
your
Yeah.
scouts in this game. I kind of like that first thing where they give you the general area where the person is, and you have to go like basically put a spotlight on the map in that region. You're like, you did it, good job. So that is interesting.
I have not
Oh,
used
get
the
close and
scouts for
use the
searching
observer.
yet.
Mm.
Yeah.
Like I use them mostly for getting the big supply caches that I find when I'm
Ding,
taking
ding.
over. Yeah,
Yeah.
I have 4 scouts right now. So with my base, I don't know if I'm going to remember all the buildings, but I've got the main building that you start with. I've got the stables, which I've upgraded to level 2.
Okay.
I have
So Boston, I don't know if you will have bumped into this yet. When
Yeah.
you get to castles and and temples and big bases, they have big pallets of material, and you can assign scouts to that material so that when the seasons change, they'll take that back to your home base.
Because
Yeah.
we talked about it, I think it was maybe 2 weeks ago, where I stumbled upon that really big temple, and that's where I got like the guy stopped me from assassinating him.
Yes.
So I was picking up the little bundles, and I ran across one of those big pallets, and the game was basically like, "Don't worry about it right now." So that makes sense.
So
yeah, because I've got
upgrade your stables immediately, because it takes 2 scouts to do them, but a level 2 the stables, it takes 1 scout. So you get
Dang.
2
okay.
pallets for the price of 1. So
That sounds great.
stables first, above
Yeah.
anything else.
Yeah, because then I built a study, which I think added 1 more scout. So now I have 4 scouts
Wow,
every
okay.
season. And then I built a forge, and I have I completed the mission, so I have a blacksmith now. I have the forge maxed out, so now I can put those emblems or whatever, those little perks. I have that extra perk
Engravings.
slot. Yeah, engrams,
Do the
whatever they are.
engravings.
I've got that, so now that I've maxed out the forge, I can add that extra one in there, so now all my weapons and armor have 1 more stat tied to them as well.
Nice.
And honestly, my dumb self, the armor that I unlocked from watching somebody else play it on Twitch first, I've just been upgrading that armor to the same level just because the skill set that you get for them have been
It's a
really
banger.
good. Yeah,
Oh,
so
okay.
it's just like I'm just gonna stick with this until I find something better
Yeah.
in the game.
So from what I'm learning as I'm playing it is, when you liberate a castle for the first time, so when you do the kill, Boston, you wouldn't have seen this yet, but when you get to a castle, there's a legendary chest in the castle that you can only open by killing the 3 samurai daishos, who's like the generals essentially.
Gotcha.
Each castle will have a different amount, depending on the wealth of the castle will be stronger or weaker.
Oh, okay.
You take out all the samurai daishos, you open the legendary chest, and it gives you a piece of legendary equipment. Now that can be for Naue or Yasuke. You cannot disassemble legendary equipment. You can only upgrade it and bring it to your level. The very first castle that I did, I got a piece of armor for Naue, which was when I do a regular assassination, by default, if there's someone else nearby who she can assassinate, she'll throw a kunai at that person and kill them as well.
Oh, nice.
Dang. Okay.
So like every time I'm like just walking around, if I do like it has to be the regular assassination from behind. It can't be the jumping one, it can't be the hidden one. But if it's a
okay.
regular assassination, I'll walk up behind, give that guy the old stabby stab, and then do like a little flip and go whah, and then the guy standing over there is dead too.
That's
And
nice.
it's so useful, and I'm like, upgrade this, upgrade this, upgrade
Yeah.
this.
I've got mine.
This.
I don't know if I upgraded something or what, but there's been so when I first started playing this and I'd seen the guards in town, I didn't know if the guards were good or bad. But I
Right.
saw that the assassination prompt would pop up, so I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna assassinate them, and it's like broad daylight, like people are all around, and my character. The best part about this game so far, my character, like, I just walk by him and you just hear shink, and your character just keeps walking, and then the other guy just drops,
Oh, that's fun.
and no one suspects you because it was
Uh-huh.
just a walk by.
Right.
Yep. And I will say this is something that I think they started doing in Valhalla. I meant to shout it out last time and I forgot about it. But they have very good audio design now, where when you are close enough to assassinate somebody, now it will do the hidden blade noise. It'll do the little
Mhm.
noise,
Oh.
so that even without the visual cue of the assassination prompt, you know you're close enough because you'll hear the hidden blade pop
I
out,
didn't
and
even
then you
notice
can
that.
immediately hit the right bumper, and then that's when you're close enough to do an assassination.
That's cool.
It's a tiny little thing, but I think they brought it in Valhalla, and it's just like, yeah, that's genius.
Yeah.
'Cause
That's
it means,
really
like,
good.
You'll see somebody, like, there's been times where I've been on a roof, unaware that there's somebody directly below me, and they'll walk out from the cover of the roof, and I'll just hear the little noise of the blade coming out. And then I look down, it's like, oh, there's a dude directly below me who I missed, but because of the audio design of the hidden blade, I now know they're there because I can assassinate them, and usually I do,
That's cool.
because I love going in this game and wrecking fools.
Oh,
I will
man,
say,
killed
like,
everybody.
I have unlocked Yasuke at this point. I'm pretty much playing this game as Naoe so far. Like,
Mhm.
Yasuke is a tank, a
Yep.
giant beast of a tank.
Yeah. He's your bruiser.
He's very, very combat focused. And it's no offense to Yasuke, but I'm playing an Assassin's Creed game.
Mm-hmm.
I'm an assassin. That is what I am. I'm all
And-
about the little hidden blade.
Well, and it feels really great to play as Naoe, and like it feels great in these games to sneak around and do the stealth stuff, and her whole kit leans into that naturally, and that's the stuff I've wanted to get Assassin's Creed back to, was to kind of like sneak in on the rooftops, and I don't need to like sit on a bench and listen to somebody that's walking by. Like, we're probably good leaving that in the past.
Dude, having a grapple has been pretty awesome.
It's been, yeah, that's like just being able to like zoop and be on the roof of something without having to like find a way to get up there. Like, playing as her feels really good.
Mm-hmm. I have what weapon sets are you guys running with?
I
I
don't think I can change it yet.
Okay.
So with each character, you might have unlocked the second one already, Boston. But Naoe has three. She has the blade. She has a canto, and she has, I don't know the name of it. It's the small hooked axe with a chain with a ball on the
yeah,
end.
like
got
the
that.
sickle thing.
Same one too. Yeah.
Yes. I haven't used that at all so far. Mostly because in the Assassin's Tree, you got two assassinations that you can unlock. You can unlock the double assassination, which needs a canto to use, because you use the hidden blade in one hand and the canto in the other.
Yep.
And there is the assassinate through the doors
I
trick,
just
which
unlocked
you
that
use
one.
the regular samurai sword for. Here is a pro tip for everybody. You don't need to change your weapon to use that assassination. She'll change her weapon automatically
Interesting.
for you.
Nice.
Mhm.
Because I would sit there and, like, on squeaky floors on the other side of a paper door, and I'm trying to like change my weapon to my katana so I can do the assassination through the door, and it's like, no, you can just hit the button and you'll do it through the door anyway.
That's nice.
Like, she'll change, do that, and then have that weapon out in, after the assassination, essentially.
Yeah, because I mostly run with the Tonto and the Assassin Blade, and then I've got that sickle with the chain. And the sickle with the chain I use when all of a sudden there's like 3 people there. I'm like, oh,
Yeah,
okay, I
it
need
does say
wider.
it's good for really big groups.
Yeah,
of people.
you hold down the right trigger on that thing and you release it, and she swings, like she's spinning up that ball, and when you release it, like you're taking out trees and stuff with
Oh,
this
that's
thing.
cool.
Like, it is
Nice.
it is horrific the damage you're doing with this
Yeah.
thing.
Yeah. So I'm 25 hours into this game.
Oh, nice.
Nice. I am nowhere near that. I think I'm like
I have,
10.
and I've just hit the 3rd zone.
Okay.
I'm also doing everything for the record.
Sure.
So I'm like, if I find something, I'm doing it. You've got hidden pages for me, I'm doing it. You want me to change to Yasuke and learn a new move, I'm going to do that.
Sure.
You want me to do
Need
this
some
other thing,
meditation?
I'm going to do that.
Gotcha.
Yeah. It's very interesting so far. So there are, like I said previously, I've just unlocked Yasuke, but I haven't done enough of the storyline to really see the character development between Naoe and Yasuke.
Mm.
Yeah.
It was a great moment, I will say, when I first unlocked Yasuke. There's a cutscene that has a very painful lesson to be learned in that section. But I like the story so far. I like playing the game. It feels good to play one of these games again. It feels good for it to feel as good as it feels.
That's what I was just gonna say. Like, to me, it's not just another Assassin's Creed game. Like, this one feels a little bit better, I think, than I think certainly than Valhalla did. But it feels more kind of closer to what I'm looking for in an Assassin's Creed game. Like, the last 3 games weren't bad. Sorry, not counting Mirage. But the, like, Origins, Odyssey, Valhalla kind of trilogy.
The
was
open
a great
world
trilogy.
Yeah.
Yeah, like that felt pretty good. But there's something about this that just feels a little bit tighter than I think the last couple.
Is it because it's been like 5 years since Valhalla or whatever it was?
I mean, that's probably helping it quite a bit, I think. Where I'm
helping
not
me.
like playing another one of these again, where it's like, oh, here we go.
Yeah.
I'll also say too, it just sounds like the sound design and the music in this game just sounds nice.
It's really good.
Like there's a couple places that I've been. There was like a waterfall thing that I was messing with, and just hearing the water go was awesome.
Yeah.
The storms that you get every once in a while, it was
storms are
cool.
so
With
great.
that,
The storms
just like
are
watching
great.
them come in. Yeah.
Yep.
And then just being out in the wild, like I'm one of those sickos that doesn't use a horse that often, unless
Ditto.
it's like a really long distance that I know that I have to travel. And it's like, okay, then I'll be on a horse. So for like this, like I'm running through like the thick of bushes and jumping off of the side of cliffs by accident. And yeah, there's fall damage in this game still. So
Yeah.
that's gotten me a time or two, not paying attention to what I was jumping off of. And I kind of wish you'd get that thing with like Horizon, where it's like you would jump off the cliff edge, and then Naoe would just turn around and throw her grapple hook up, and you just kind of like finish rappelling down.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know if there is an option for that, or if there's not. I don't know. I haven't messed with everything yet, but I feel like that should be in this game, because there's been a couple times where I've climbed to a top of a building. It's like, well, now I have to climb back down because there's nothing to jump down to.
Yeah, you can't do
So-
like the eagle jump.
Yeah, the leap
Yeah.
of faith or whatever. So, yeah, I'm having a blast with it so
Yeah,
far.
Ditto.
You're both now at the point where you've unlocked Yasuke, correct?
Not yet.
Correct.
No,
Okay.
I've
There was
unlocked
an achievement-
having an assist character with you that you can summon.
Yes. Yes,
So
I
I
have
just
that
did
one
that
too.
mission for a monk.
Okay.
So
Yes.
yeah.
Mhm. I know the character you were talking about.
Yep.
Um,
So
so part of having dialogue choices as well now is in those cutscenes, it will pop up with a big old message saying, "This choice will affect what this person thinks." So
Interesting. I wonder if I
so
still
you
get
better
those.
get it right.
Well, I wonder if I still get those choices because I'm playing the canon choice. I wonder if it's always going to answer that, so you can always like gather all of
get
your
the
friends
person.
or not.
yeah,
I'll have to keep an eye
Interesting.
That'll be interesting.
on that.
yes. There is an achievement in the game for doing a leap of faith as Yasuke.
Yeah. Great.
Do it. Is all I'm gonna say. Just do it.
That's great.
Because
Okay.
yes, but that is all I've been playing, unfortunately. Nim.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that's also all I've been playing
Oh, okay.
because I haven't had a whole lot of time since I've been recovering.
Well, let me type
I will
some-
say though, One more thing. Are you guys? What console are you guys playing on?
PS5.
We are across the board. He's PS5, I'm Series X, you're PC.
Yeah.
Okay. So I have come across a couple of issues with the game. Nothing big. And it's not just me. I was reading this across. So like we were just talking about how earlier taking out those, what was it, the Daimo Samurai and the castles. There's one, the Kyoto castle, I believe it was, where I had taken out two of the samurai, could not find the chest. I'm like, what is? Okay, let me see. Let me look this up, and I go to look it up, and there's like threads everywhere talking about how either the samurais are not showing up in the castle, the chest is not showing up in the castle, both are not, in the castle kind of thing. So there is some weird glitchiness with that. I have not gone back to the castle, but a lot of people had said, hey, just knock out like a couple more missions, then come back. The samurai should still be dead, and then the chest should eventually show up.
Okay.
Okay, yeah, I'll do that.
I did run into one issue too. I talked about it, I think it was last week, where I'm doing the balanced graphical mode, the 40 hertz with VRR mode. I had to turn that off because I don't know what combination of things, but when you're at the headquarters and there's that cherry blossom outside, that really huge one,
Yeah.
anytime that was on screen, my frame rate tanked hard.
Oh, okay.
I changed it to performance, and that's locked at 60. So there's something weird about like that area, whatever graphically going on with that tree. The frame rate just got real squirrely, so I'll keep it on performance.
Well, and so the next thing that I was going to bring up is that after I got done looking up, okay, what's up with this chest, all of a sudden I noticed my UI is not on the screen anymore. And when I hit pause, it is taking the game a while to get into the pause menu. So I'm like, okay, let me save this, let me quit. Maybe it just needs to get out, go back into it. Same thing, load up the save, UI is not in there. The pause menu is taking forever to get back up. So close out of it. I do have a verification check on the files and stuff just to make sure everything's good there. Everything comes back good. Look up a couple other things, and this is another thing where a couple of people were like, yeah, every once in a while you'll run into an issue where it's like UI stops working, you can't switch weapons, but your UI is there. You can't interact with things, like pick things up or interact with characters or anything like that. It's just like every once in a while on PC, it just freaks out and breaks itself for a moment. For me, rebooted my system. Everything started working normally after that, but it seems to be kind of like an across-the-board thing with PC. So I haven't looked into the game much into that, because outside of those two things, like, it's been running perfectly. It looks great. I haven't had any issues with the game whatsoever. These two things happened like yesterday.
Weird.
So I don't know what's up with that. But like, it's been running smooth, so I've just been playing it and enjoying it. But yeah, that's the only thing I've liked, the last couple of weeks, besides trying not to die.
All right, I only have two games here real quick. I have platinumed Like a Dragon Pirate Yakuza in Hawaii. I initially wasn't going to. I was actually complaining about this to Bill Safard. If you played any of these games, you'll know who's waiting for you at the end of the Coliseum. I'm not going to spoil it. It's the same thing. Those are kind of infamously difficult fights. I went in, because of this one, it starts off with a ship-to-ship battle, which is very hard. You board the enemy ship and fight them, and then you kind of fight them on land afterwards. The ship-to-ship battle was pretty difficult, but I was expecting it to be. We do the deck boarding, and I get destroyed in no time flat. Like, it wasn't even a competition. I just got immediately smoked. I was like, wow, this feels really weird. Like, I have a full crew of people that are all max level. I have maxed out every single one of my stats, even the ones where you can do like they have like a max health and max strength boost that you can level up 10 times, and it gets really expensive at the top. Maxed out all of those. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but like this is the point where like maybe I won't get this last trophy because that's just super unfun.
Yeah.
I was complaining about it to Bill, and then I looked online and I'm like, okay, maybe there's like a trick I need to do. Maybe if I bring in like one crew member.
It is like the crackdown thing where you destroy everything in advance and then suddenly everyone's weaker.
Exactly. Like maybe I'm just missing something fairly obvious. I went through it, I was like, dang, that all looks like stuff I'm doing. Okay, sure. I go to bed, I wake up the next morning, and I decide, all right, I'm just going to try it again. Let me look. And I go in and I change one. Your ship has 3 guns. You have cannons on either side, and then a machine gun out the front. Change my machine gun to something that freezes the enemy ship, made that fight a little bit easier, which is nice. And then I go look, and I was like, oh, maybe I'll change around my crew a little bit. I was missing a ton of crew members. I have no idea what happened, but there was like 7 crew members out of my, it's like 30 or something. Just totally, their slots were totally empty. I was like, well, if there's anything that might have done it, it might have been that. So I like reshuffled all my party members because I'd gotten in extra ones by doing some side stories and stuff. One side story just like dumps 5 gold level crew members on you at some point. Redo all of that, reorganize everybody, and make sure everything is okay. Go in and I just one shot that thing, no problem. Like all 3 phases of it, not even an issue.
Wow,
so I was
that's
like,
amazing. 7 characters make that much of a difference.
yeah, because like part of the weird thing about this game is like when you do a ship-to-ship battle, your crew members can get hurt on deck while you're fighting the other. You can get stuff like where you're on fire, you're frozen, you're poisoned, stuff like that. And then some of that carries over to the deck battle. So if you're going in to the deck battle with a couple of people down, it can affect you pretty heavily, because I think the maximum number of people you have on your crew is like 35 or 40, and I'm fighting against 35 or 40 on the enemy team, and they're all really strong. So starting on the back foot with like 7 people down, we just had they just rolled right over us with just superior numbers. So finished that, platinumed it. That fight was pretty fun. Not as hard as it was in the man who erased his name, thankfully, because that one was fairly miserable. But it's still good. I'm kind of happy to be done with it though, because I'm not sick of it, but I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, all right, I've done everything I need to do in this game. I'm good to kind of wrap it up at this point. So that's Pirate Yakuza. Last game I have this week, 2 Point Museum. 2 trophies away from platinuming this.
I was waiting for you to say you were platinum this one too.
I tried, I just didn't have really what I need to do is just have time in this game to kind of wrap up my last 2. I finished all 5 museums, so like getting 5 stars on all of those. I did all of those. I got a gold trophy in one of the like challenge museums, because that's a trophy. That one was pretty fun. I did the marketing one. I tried a couple of the other ones. Those are okay. But I like the marketing one where basically nobody knows your museum is out here in the middle of nowhere. You need to run a bunch of marketing campaigns to get people in, and you get scored on how well those campaigns do. So that was pretty fun. I was doing a bunch of the goofy trophies, like get 10 robo janitors or robot security guards in one museum at one time. That was kind of fun to do. My favorite one was you need to, on the first expedition map, there's a bunch of cold expeditions you can go out and do, and you're going to be bringing back a bunch of frozen stuff. and you need to keep them in an area that's cooled with a bunch of big freezers and stuff.
So you have to make sure that you don't let it go.
Well, you have to, number one, no, bad. And number two, you have to bring back a frozen caveman and put them in an area where they'll thaw out. And then when they escape, they have to break one of your donation stands. And when you spot a vandal or a thief in your museum, normally it says like a thief has been spotted in the museum, stop thief. And this one was, you've located an exhibit in the museum that's run amok, stop exhibit, ? And then the cops, it was like 3 or 4 cops that were trying to chase this guy and get him down. So that one was a lot of fun. The 2 I have left are, one of them is fully train a staff member. So you have to get them up to level 20 and train them in all 5 slots of skills that they can learn. That one is just let the museum run, let them continue to level up, and kind of let them do their thing. I have like 2 or 3 staff members that are at like level 17 and 18, so I'm pretty close to that one. And the last one is get a museum up to level 50. And that's kind of your museum level is really the ranking of like how much overall buzz you have in your museum, how well decorated it is, how well received the museum as a whole is, how much people think how fair the price is, like to get in and get in the gift shop and all that stuff, the overall level of your staff and how well they're trained, just kind of like an overall thing about how well you're doing. So that again is just like continuing to go out and get more stuff, bring it back, keep decorating it, keep leveling up my staff and stuff like that. So that's really just playing the game for a little bit more and getting that stuff. The only thing that I found myself a little bit bummed by was it had one sandbox trophy, which is getting a sandbox museum to level 10. So fired up on the main menu, you either do the like story mode, which you really should do first, because the sandbox has no guidance whatsoever, and then sandbox is a totally different mode. I have to remind myself this is a $30 game, so I think my expectations should be aligned a little bit differently. But in sandbox mode, unlike the last 2 games, where especially 2 Point Campus, they just gave you a giant empty field and just said, here's a bunch of money, just go build some buildings and stuff. That's not how they do it in this game. In this game, you pick one of the 5 museums from the normal mode, and then you get to say like how much money do you want to start with, how much money do you get every month, how easy is it to level up your how easy or hard is it to level up your staff members, stuff like that. But you start at the base with the kind of starter museum building, and then you build out from there. So that was a little bit of a bummer of like I have to start with at least one building instead of kind of building the museum layout that I really wanted. But again, it's a $30 game, so if there's something they can save on from a development standpoint, that's fine for us to get more of these things. So
yeah,
still really great. Again, still really, even as I'm kind of just playing more of one of these things to get these last 2 trophies, I'm still having a blast. So I still really recommending 2 Point Museum. It's great.
Cool.
But that's all I'm playing this week. So let's take a break.
Yep. Be right back. I got a cat to get rid of.
Okay. I had a cat in here earlier. Where is he? Hang on. Shrimp was in his bed. He likes hanging out with my wife in the office here when she's working. And he has a bed underneath her desk over here. He was taking such a vigorous bath earlier that he just fell out of his bed while we're recording. I was like, dang. All right.
All right, whatever.
Yeah, tough life, man. Okay, let's see
Our
if there's...
cat has been losing like fur on the side for some reason, and we're trying to figure out. At first, we thought it was because my wife had changed the food that we were giving them.
Oh, sure.
So she was like, well, maybe it's because of the new food. But the other cat was fine; like she wasn't having any issues. So we switched them back over. And we're thinking maybe it's just the dog, always barking at them and stuff like that because when they get into fights or whatever, they're super loud, so then the dog gets involved and starts barking at them.
Right.
But it's growing back, but it's not all the way back. So we're just trying to figure out, it's like, what is so stressful about your life right now?
Yeah, I've had cats definitely before where they're like pulling out their fur.
Yeah.
I think I had one of them that it was an allergy related thing. And then the other one was like general stress of just like chewing their fur and pulling it out. And I was like,
Yeah.
dang, okay.
But like, didn't have any issues. When we first got them, we've had them for about over 3 years now.
Yeah.
And it's just a recent thing, so I don't know.
Weird.
I don't know what's going on with them.
Yeah.
But oh well.
Hopefully they're okay.
Yeah. That's the thing. Like they act normal and stuff like that too. Like they're running.
Right.
I gave him catnip earlier when we were sitting out in the living room. Like he was playing with one of the mice that I covered in catnip, just bouncing around and throwing that thing up in the air and acting all derped out. But
Right. Huh. Interesting. Oh man. Yeah, we're the kitties are doing well so far. Grits continues to grow. His paws are still really big. I don't think he's finished growing yet.
oh, okay.
And Shrimp is getting rounder in a way that is concerning and probably not healthy. So I gotta figure out if he's eating the lion's share of the food, because I sort of suspect.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah. It's also funny because of the circumstances of his rescue, because of him like dying a little bit. He has a very small head, and it seems like his head is maybe tinier than a cat of his age should be. So I'm sort of like, is the rest of your body normal sized and your head is tiny, or are you getting a little bit chubby?
You start calling them jumbo shrimp.
I do call him jumbo shrimp.
There you go.
Yep.
There's a dad joke that's not in that calendar.
That's right. Oh my god, stop spamming. Add to block list. I knew I shouldn't have closed Firefox.
Oh, yeah, I got him.
Of course, I'm opening Firefox and it has to do an update. There we go. Dismiss.
Oh. Ugh. Yeah, and I honestly don't. Speaking of spam, if you're trying to do a legitimate channel, why would you pay to have bots view your channel? Because you are not going to have the interaction
Exactly,
that
like
you would need.
it's one thing to like. I understand the impulse to pay for followers on social media platforms, because like I think it might be a little bit easier to cover up. Like, you don't get a lot of interactions, but you have a lot of followers. But on Twitch and YouTube, like, sure, you can have 500 people watching your stream, but if nobody's chatting, like, what is that? That's a metric that matters too. So, like, I don't know.
Yeah, I just don't care enough.
Yeah, like, I would rather succeed or fail on my own merits than be like, oh my god, we have 5,000 people watching our stream. And like, that's sure, but like, they're not watching your stream. Like,
Yeah.
it doesn't really count. Yeah.
And then you'd have to deal with mods and
Yeah.
getting everything set up.
Ugh, yeah.
It's just a hassle.
No thanks.
We're talking about being popular, Moon.
That's right. It's very hard to be popular. Right.
Yes, it's very hard making a livable wage,
That's
being
right.
popular.
That's right. All right, you guys ready to do the probably longer second half of this show? All right. Let's get started in 3, 2, 1. Let's talk releases for the week of April 6th, 2025. South of Midnight comes out on series consoles and PC. This is Game Pass day and date. This is that cool kind of southern third-person action, like a cool frame rate. People called it Bayonetta. Like this is this
It's got the Bayou stuff, yeah.
It's very cool. I'm like, yeah, see, I got you with one. But yeah, I'm really, really curious to see how this reviews, because I think this game looks really cool, and the last kind of big gameplay trailer they put out, I thought looked kind of from a style standpoint, from a gameplay standpoint, I think looks really neat. So we'll see. Previews so far seems like this has been pretty good. I also selfishly hope that this does really well because it's on my fantasy league thing, so please do well. Thanks for literally any game that's getting released. That'd be great. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think this looks kind of cool, and I hope it does pretty well. So that's coming out this week. Next up, Commandos Origins with a S comes out on PS5, series consoles, and PC. This is also Game Pass day and date. This is a series I haven't thought about for a really long time. I feel like the Commandos series was very popular on PC in the 90s, maybe early 2000s at the latest. It was the
CNC era.
Yeah, but this was the small squad isometric real-time strategy. It's like you had 3 or 4 people at most, and you're kind of creeping through missions. This is a brand new game in that series. So I originally thought, based on the Origins title, that it was going to be like a remake or a remaster. It's not. They're just making a brand new one of these. So I think that's cool. It's nice to see it's coming out on consoles as well. I feel like this is something I've always thought of as like a PC title, but looks exactly the same as the other ones. So I think that's neat. We don't get a lot of like small RTS games like this, so that I know of. There might be like a burgeoning subgenre out there for a while, but
they're mostly PC related, and none of us play them, so we don't know about them.
Yeah, exactly. So. It's Commandos Origins. We were going to talk about Descenders next. It was supposed to come out this week, but got a very last-minute delay because of some issues they found coming out of the alpha. That got delayed to sometime in the future. They haven't given a release date for that yet, but they have said they're still coming to Game Pass, which is unsurprising based on how huge that first game was on Game Pass, but they are recommitting to it here.
Yep.
And
honestly, I'm fine with the delay. Less games is even better.
And also, like, just take your time on that game. Like, there's no reason to rush it out the door. So just take a little extra time. Next game up, game I've been looking forward to for a while. Blueprints comes out PS5, series consoles, and PC. Game Pass day and date, and PS Plus Extra day and date. We saw a trailer for this during Day of the Devs or the Keeleys, I don't remember. But this was the puzzle game, the first-person puzzle game where you're going from room to room in this mansion, but then it has the twist of you're building the mansion as you're going from room to room. So, like, you get a couple of choices of, like, do you want to build a library? Do you want to build a kitchen? Do you want to build a bathroom or a nook? And you're kind of crafting the museum as you're going through. A couple of journalists and reviewers that I follow online have been singing the praises of this pretty heavily so far. So it sounds like it could potentially be something pretty special here. So I was gonna buy this anyway. Glad it's on PS Plus because I really want to try this. I feel like I'm maybe not ready for Curse of the Golden Idol yet, but I'm looking for something that scratches that Obra Dinn itch. And I know Golden Idol will, but maybe this is kind of my next one where it's like, yeah, that's the good puzzle stuff. So it's coming out this week. Monaco 2 gets a release on PS5, Series consoles, and PC. Sequel to Xbox 360 runaway arcade hit Monaco, the heist game, the, like, four-player multiplayer thing. Coming out with a sequel here. Looks like it's largely the same kind of game as far as I can tell. Kind of like a 4-person squad-based heist thing. Looks like it has more graphics this time. I guess is probably the way to put it.
Yeah, because the other one was just lines.
Yeah,
Dots
like
and lines.
if you made a sequel to Thomas Was Alone and you put graphics in it, that kind of thing. So it looks cool. I feel like the first one was received pretty well, but I feel like it was maybe a little bit too early for like getting a crew of 4 people together and kind of playing this a little bit over a series of weeks. I feel like releasing it in 2025 might give it more of a fighting chance, because that seems to be a thing that is happening more often. So hopefully it does really well. I think it looks cool, and stylistically looks really, really neat. It has a very different style to it. So that is coming out this week. Another game I'm looking forward to, Promise Mascot Agency. Comes out on, where is it on my list? PS4, PS5, Xbox One, Series Console, Switch, and PC. This is a game that even the developers say is a hard game to explain. And it's basically, you're running a mascot agency, and you're sort of, it's a racing game and a business sim at the same time, and also very story focused. The only thing I can recommend is watch a trailer, because it is just as bonkers as it sounds.
This is giving me heavy Saints Row 3 vibes.
Yeah, I think it's that same sort of level of unhinged in kind of a positive way.
I was gonna say, was it the lady in full latex that gave you that impression that they just showed on the screen a little bit?
It was the tofu in the back of the truck.
Yeah, the tofu mascot is really
in the back of this little key truck. Yeah,
it's got a lot of stuff going on. So go watch a trailer for that one. I'm looking forward to that one. The Talos Principle Reawakened, coming out on PS5, Series consoles, and PC. This is the YouTube trailer here says more than a remaster, so it's a remaster plus extra stuff here of the first Talos Principle. We played that on Game Club years and years ago, and it's real good and real kind of increasing your brain's plasticity. Looks really great, much kind of more lush than the original game did. Has the DLC, the Road to Gehenna stuff, has some quality of life stuff, has a new chapter in it, so it seems like it's considerably bigger than the original one. I will still recommend this game. I think it's really, really cool, and I would recommend, if you're going to play it, stick with it, because it's hard, but I think it has some pretty interesting payoffs there as the game gets deeper and deeper into it. So that's Talos Principle Reawakened. God, I can't speak. Last game we have here, tiny little guy called Tiny Garden. Comes out on Switch and PC. It says, Tiny Garden, build your own magical garden inside a 90s toy. Remember those clamshell toys that have
Polly Pockets and the Mighty Max?
Yeah, you got it. What if you grew a little garden inside?
Dude, we're of that age.
Oh, come on. Yes, very much. And you get to like turn the crank on the side of it to progress your plants growing inside there. It looks really fun. It looks really. Go watch a trailer. You'll immediately see how charming it is. So that's Tiny Garden. All right, let's get to the big news story this week. Nintendo had their Switch 2 announcement stream. We're gonna go. Some of the stuff we're gonna blow through. Some of the stuff we're gonna take our time on. We're gonna talk about all of it though here. So I hope you have a snack. If not, put your headphones in and go get a snack. We're not gonna be talking about the price until the end. So wait for that. It's coming out June 5th, 2025. Pre-orders will be opening on April 9th, 2025, with an asterisk. We'll talk about that at the end. they opened with Mario Kart World, which is interesting because it turns out it's a semi-open world Mario Kart game, where you
Mario
can
Kart Horizons.
Diddy
yeah,
Kong Racing, baby. Diddy Kong Racing all over again.
that's right.
Mm-hmm.
This seems kind of neat because I like the idea. The big way they were selling some of this stuff originally was in between races when you're doing like a cup, you're racing from the kind of finish of one race to the start of another one, kind of like how they were doing with whatever the last golf game they did, where they're like, "Oh, you finished that hole," everybody's sprinting to the next one, that
Yeah.
kind of thing. And you can just kind of, they showed later, it's just like, yeah, just like go drive anywhere in this kind of connected world that they have going on, which looks neat. It's a good looking game too. I think it looks quite a bit sharper than some of the other stuff. You can play as a cow. That seems to be the breakout star here in this trailer. There are time of day and weather changes. It looks cool. It looks like a Mario Kart game that's a little bit bigger. So I'm not sure if they'll have any kind of additional surprises after that. But no, it looks pretty neat from a kind of Mario Kart standpoint. At that point, they pivot off to the mysterious C button that shows up on the controller here. Turns out that's a chat button. They're basically building in like your favorite Xbox 360 party chat for across kind of the OS of the Switch 2. Push the button, it brings up a chat interface. The Switch 2 has a microphone built into the top of it. So along that kind
I'm good.
top
I'm good.
that top ridge of the Switch, you know, they have their normal thing of like, it'll sound great even across the room. Probably won't, but that's fine.
They even had the
but
thing where it's like the blender going off in the background. I'm
Right,
like, there's no
and I'm like,
way.
no. I mean, like, NVIDIA Broadcast does a really great job for that, but like, I'm not entirely
Like
sure.
when the PS5 came out and before everybody had deactivated that microphone in the controller, apparently Call of Duty was a nightmare.
Yes,
Yeah.
it's still a nightmare every once in a while where like I'll join a Destiny 2 party and someone is just like chewing something in the background. I was like, okay, yep, you're on PlayStation, you got it. I like the idea of this because I've always liked this. Like when we had the heyday of like 360, I really liked a bunch of people playing different games and you're just kind of hanging out. Like you'd probably do that in
Oh, yeah.
Discord nowadays because that's sort of where you are overall anyways, and like everybody's
I still do an Xbox party chat, thank you very much.
there you go. But like everybody has like a platform that they're already on, or they have their headphones in on their phone and they're on Discord. I think there's some interesting twists here. I think the screen sharing capabilities are really interesting, so you can display what you're playing to other people. I think it's really funny that people are like picking on Nintendo showing this and like all of the screens running at like 15 frames a second. But at least they're being honest about it. Like, you're not gonna have 5 people playing at 60 frames a second. So like, that's okay by me. And also like, who really cares at the end of the day?
Yeah, dude. Like, have you seen like quote unquote like major corporations like cloud services?
Right.
They don't
like,
run at 60 frames a second.
Yeah. So
But
like,
I had it on my notes for this. It's like, oh look, Nintendo figured out team meetings.
yeah,
Cool.
like they figured out TeamSpeak. You know, like it's just Nintendo's Ventrilo. So I think a lot of that stuff looks pretty cool. I think the screen sharing thing I think is going to be really interesting, especially if you're maybe potentially dealing with and trying to help kids that are playing something of like
I was gonna say younger players.
yeah,
Yes.
share your
Yeah.
screen, show me where you are. Okay, if you turn left, I'm all the way over there. Or like
Nope, not that left. Your other left. the
exactly,
actual
or like
left.
turn a little bit more, or like okay, how to solve this puzzle is hit this thing, then hit that thing, and then you're done. Like, I think that will make a stuff a lot easier. But otherwise, like it just seems like kind of a neat feature. They also at the same time announced the Nintendo Switch camera, which my note here is, did we learn nothing from the Xbox 360's Uno? Of just like
We didn't.
Don't put a camera showing real people connected to your
It's
console.
20 years. It's 20 years behind, so of course they didn't. Of course they didn't. 20 years ago, dude.
Parts of
2006.
this is 20 years old, and other parts of this are like, oh wow, Nintendo's actually like bringing it to current, you know?
Yeah.
More current stuff.
Yeah.
I will.
Current-ish.
I will say though. My favorite Blue Sky post that I saw about this was nobody really cares about the Nintendo Switch camera. Hori has entered the chat. Because have you seen the Hori design?
No, I haven't.
It's a piranha plant.
That's incredible.
You need
Come
to
on,
look
Nintendo.
it up, dude. It's so cute. Like the Hori official Nintendo camera is a little piranha plant with the camera sticking out of his mouth.
That's really
it's
good.
So cute.
Come on, Hori. Killing me here. So like they show a bunch of stuff where it's like your face is in a Mario Party. So when you lose at the end of a Mario Party because it gave your friend 30 stars at the end, you can show them how disappointed you are. And like your character is doing stuff in these games. So I don't.
It's literally Xbox 360 stuff.
Like
literally Xbox 360
it's just
stuff.
like remember when they took a picture of was it Burnout? Was the Burnout?
Yeah, whenever you took somebody down, it took Burnout Revenge.
A picture of them and sent it to you of them being like, "Why?" So it's just that again. It's fine. It's okay. It'll be. They also said the Switch 2 will work with other USB-C cameras, but they haven't put out a list of like what the specs are, or who else is putting them out other than clearly Hori. So we'll find that out more. They also talked about game share, where you can share your copy of a game with up to 3 other Switches. They showed the Clubhouse 51. We're like, does everyone want to play golf at the same time? I share my copy to other people, and we're all playing golf. No real details about how that's really going to work. Okay, let's get into the meat of the Switch 2 features here. Switch 1 had a 6.2 inch screen. This one has a 7.9 inch screen. 720p for the previous one, 1080p now. It is 120 hertz screen, which I thought was surprising. It is an LCD screen. It's not an OLED screen, but it does feature HDR in handheld mode. So that was a little bit of a surprise. As we've seen before, the controllers attach magnetically. They had an interesting thing before that the SL and the SR buttons, the ones that when you take the Joy-Cons off, they're the ones on the rails. Those are made of metal this time, so those are what attach to the Switch 2 magnetically. They also made those 2 buttons bigger. To me, that's fine. I never remembered that those buttons were there.
I've never used them either.
I had to Google it because they're like, the SL and SR buttons are bigger. And I was like, what the hell? What are those? What are you talking about?
Did they ever say if the magnet is electromagnet or are they earth magnets? Or
it sounds like earth magnets.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'd seen everyone complaining about, it being magnets. I'm like, well, if they're electric magnets, though, like those are really strong.
Right.
Earth magnets are really strong too, but I don't know. I guess we'll see when we mess with it more.
Yeah.
Hey, Boston, check your phone. I sent you a text message of the image of the Hori Plank controller.
Okay.
Also, the Plank camera.
Yeah, this is really cute. I'll show it a little bit here on screen for video viewers. But yeah, you need to go look at the Hori camera for that. Left and right joysticks are larger. They don't mention how the sticks are controlled. So are they the drift ones like before? Are they Hall effect? They haven't said, and they're not answered questions. So I think you can probably assume from that.
It's regular.
Yeah. Mouse controls, they've shown that before. Built-in speakers are, quote-unquote, better. Not know what that means. Headphones have 3D audio support. The stand allows for the console to almost lay down, kind of like the... I forgot the OLED Switch had a different stand than the regular one, so it's a lot more like that one. So you can kind of almost lay it flat. There's one USB port on the bottom for charging and for the dock. and which we'll get to the new dock in a second. There's also one on the top. That's where you connect the camera. You can also charge it on the top for when you're on tabletop mode. Because that was a problem with the original Switch of like, how do I dock it when it's sitting on the port? So you can plug that in the top. Internal storage moves from 32 gigs in the original Switch to 256 gigs, and it supports, which they mentioned this later, it supports micro SD express cards. So that's like the next faster step.
I think it said for Switch 2 specific, they had to be express. It doesn't support the regular.
Yeah, and they don't support Switch 1 speed SD cards.
Yeah.
So you'll have to buy a new SD card. But just like all of these, they're just going to be dirt cheap, no matter what. So, gosh, where am I? New dock. It has 4K support and HDR support, and the dock has a fan inside of it now. There's also an Ethernet port on there too, so you won't need an additional adapter or anything. Largely looks the same as the previous dock. It just looks, maybe the back end of it is a little bulkier to kind of support all the new hardware and the fan. Nintendo hasn't said yet whether or not the original Switch will be able to fit in this dock. I'm assuming not, because it looks like it's exactly the size of the Switch 2 screen without the Joy-Cons on it. Which is going to be much bigger than the original Switch. So I assume not, but we'll have to see for one, whether they answer the question, or two, whenever it comes out and people just start putting a Switch 1 in there. Someone else can break their Switch instead of us.
I'd say outside of that though, the dimensions, besides it being taller, the dimensions are pretty much the same. So
it's really just like
longer in length, not taller. Sorry.
Yeah, I watched a video from I think it was IGN where they laid the Switch 1 on top of the Switch 2, and basically if you line up the left Joy-Cons, it's one Joy-Con bigger on the right side. So it's not super big, but not super small. They then announced Nintendo Switch 2 Welcome Tour. It's an interactive tour of the Switch 2's features and capabilities. Seems kind of interesting walking around on a giant Switch. It is, unfortunately, and surprisingly, not free. I thought this was going to be their answer to Astro's Playroom, because it seems like in kind of the same vein. It's not. They should have announced the price during this. It's only 990 yen. So, it's about $10 when it comes out here, based on, don't come at me about exchange rates. But, that's a fine price, but I feel like after Astro's Playroom did really well, I think you should probably just make this cool thing free and put it on the Switch.
Well, especially since they talked about too when presenting this thing that this is going to help you show things on here that you may not be aware exists.
Right.
So it's okay, why are you putting that behind a paywall now?
Right.
Why isn't this just installed?
Because they have a bunch of games in here too of play golf with the mouse controls and do this thing with these other kind of controls. Very much like Astro's Playroom did for showing off all the different features. So this is just another baffling Nintendo choice of of course this is an incredible showpiece for this brand new technology, so pay for it, and then you have to download it. And it's guys, just okay, sure.
I mean, it's not like Nintendo have ever released pack-ins that are included and done really well from them. I mean, Tetris, Wii Sports.
I forgot Wii Sports was a pack-in title, and it's okay, one of the most popular video games of the last 15 years. Was a pack-in
of all time,
title.
dude.
Yeah,
let's just say of all time.
Yeah, and it showed off the capabilities of the console. It's a real Sony move coming from Nintendo, which is really weird. Cartridges, they're red now. They probably still taste terrible. They said that they support faster data.
They give you bleed effect instead of darkness.
Exactly. You can. They did this little thing about you could transfer your data from a Switch 1 to a Switch 2 system. Anyways, moving on. It's like, okay, sure. I guess we'll learn about that in a couple months. They showed off a new Pro controller, the Nintendo Switch 2 Pro controller. It's the same thing as before. It has a headphone jack, it has a C button, and it has what they call the GR and GL buttons, which you guys really have to stop doing this. But it's on the grip on the handles.
Yep, grip left, grip right. It makes perfect sense.
Yep.
GL, GR.
And you can customize those to be whatever buttons you want. So,
yep,
that's pretty interesting.
I think the Pro controller I have for the Switch 1 has them in it too.
Is it a third party or a first party?
Well, it's got Nintendo design.
I know. So the Hori third-party controllers have that. I think my Splatoon 2 Switch controller has it.
So Moon's holding up a Switch.
I have a Zelda Pro controller.
One. Yeah,
and it has them right there.
Those grippy ones. That looks like a Hori controller, though.
Oh,
I don't know. They put out a bunch of stuff, so like
Do you have to put batteries in it?
Yes.
Yeah, it's a Hori.
Yeah, yeah. But like, who knows?
Which they're good controllers.
Yeah, the lines blur between Nintendo and Hori anyway. So like,
yeah.
They went through and they mentioned there are 3 types of games now. Switch 2 games. That's your number 1. Switch 1 games. Most of those are compatible. Third one is Nintendo Switch 2 Edition games, which is just a very inelegant way of saying we're giving
Xbox Series X enhanced.
Exactly. Like that version of like it's the game from before, but we've done a little bit of work on it. They showed off Mario Party
Kart 8
yeah,
is the prime example of this.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. They showed off Mario Party Jamboree, which is the most recent Mario Party game. Mouse features, camera features. Again, did we learn nothing from Xbox 360's Uno? Apparently not. There's a bunch of stuff. I only watched Northern Lion torture his friends with this game, and I won't play this game myself. So it looks...
Ray Narvaez Jr. for me.
Yeah. It looks fine. It just looks like more Mario Party, and a lot of the stuff you can like control with a mouse or like your face is on the screen.
Dancing in the pipes makes me think of the Kinect.
This is such Kinect stuff of like, you can dance on screen. It's like, I will never do that in my entire life.
That Kinect Sports where you could do the voiceover for the crickets or the beavers at the end of the thing. Yeah.
Connectables, petting a tiger. Yeah, got all of it. Yeah. They showed off, unsurprisingly, I thought this would only feature the second one, but they also showed off Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are both getting Switch 2 editions. 60 frames.
Is it full prices or...
Well, so we might as well talk about it now.
It's a new standard.
Some Switch games will be $80. Some of them will be $80 physical and digital. Some will have different prices overall. They are really pushing that these upgrades to, at the very least, Nintendo first-party games, the Switch 2 edition upgrades are going to be paid. I don't think we know how much those are going to be at the moment, but like Switch 2 editions of a bunch of games have been showing up for $70. So,
okay,
I don't know if this is like a Project $10 thing or what.
Yeah, I would like to know how, like, I have a digital version of Breath of the Wild.
Right.
I would like to finish Breath of the Wild.
Right.
So if I can get a Switch 2 and upgrade it for minimal costs, that might be the thing that incentivizes me to do so.
Exactly. Because like they're showing off with Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom, higher resolution, higher frame rate, HDR support. All 3 of those are really great. I bet those games look really good with HDR. They also showed off the Zelda Notes app, which turns out to be like sat-nav for Zelda games. It even has like your phone being like, it's 300 yards to the north. I think the real the real secret sauce of that app is going to be sharing your horrible creations via QR code. People can scan it and then just download your Korok torture machine to their own Switch. So I think that's going to be really interesting. And makes me wish we had like a fully functioning version of Twitter that wasn't lousy with Nazis right now, because that would probably go pretty nuts over there. Kirby and the Forgotten
Blue Sky
Land.
does videos now, dude.
What's up?
Blue Sky does videos now. And
I know
GIFs.
their video stuff is pretty good. Give them credit to Blue Sky for moving fast on that stuff. Kirby and the Forgotten Land Switch 2 edition. It's got some new stuff. It's got a new area. Looks like it runs a little bit smoother. Looks a little bit better. It's still kind of that game. Metroid Prime 4 Beyond. Nintendo Switch 2 edition. 4K 60 frames or 1080 120 frames, and it has mouse support. Mouse support looks really interesting. That you have one Joy-Con down as a mouse, and you're holding the other Joy-Con to kind of move with the stick. So that's
how many people have lap boards these days?
Well, Nintendo has been like, you can use it on your jeans. It works on anywhere. It's like, I'm not gonna do that. What are you talking about? So that looks pretty cool. That game looks pretty neat. People that have played it at the big Nintendo preview event said it works really well with mouse support. So we'll see as that comes out.
You get one of those foldable trays that come down from your chest, and you can just put your stuff on there, and then
exactly.
you can,
Yeah. Pokemon Legends ZA will get a Nintendo Switch 2 edition at launch. Already saying that it has improved frame rate, so that's
not difficult based on the last one.
That's a real bad sign for the Switch 1 version of that. So yikes. Next up, they showed Drag and Drive, which the logo looks like drag cross drive. This is a wheelchair-based basketball game where you control each wheel of the wheelchair with a Joy-Con in mouse mode. So looks pretty cool. Seeing some previews, people are saying that it's maybe not super intuitive yet, but there's still some time, I think, before it comes out to maybe kind of nail some of that stuff. But it's really cool. I don't know if we've ever had a wheelchair basketball game in general, so
probably not.
I think that's incredible. So it's sad.
How many
that
games
it took
have
this
you
long.
seen with wheelchairs in? I can name
unfortunately.
2.
What do you have?
Wolfenstein.
Sure.
The sequence when you wake up from a coma in the first Wolfenstein remake. And the Dark Souls game where you are in the future and you get the body armor thing.
Yeah.
I wish I could remember the name of it. That starts with the wheelchair sequence too.
Right. Yep. Yeah. What do we have here next? We have okay, so this is going to be the big like third party block here that we're going to get under. Elden Ring Tarnished Edition coming out here in 2025. It's probably just the Elden Ring, like whatever the Game of the Year edition they called it with the DLC together.
Yeah.
Not super surprising. One of the biggest games of the last couple of years is coming to Switch. So that hopefully it runs pretty well, but otherwise, you haven't played Elden Ring yet and you don't have anything else, it's probably a pretty good place to play it. Hades 2, Greg Kasavin comes on screen to say, Hades 2 is coming to Switch 2 later this year. Hooray for Hades. So that still looks like what Hades 2 has looked like in early access. So not too many surprises here. I've been trying to keep like a little bit out of the loop on Hades 2 because we'll probably just play it on Wii Roguelike It when it comes out anyway, so like why worry about it right now?
Something's got to challenge Hades for that number 1 spot.
That's right. ReRoguelikeIt.com.
Damn, you beat me to
it. Street Fighter 6 will be available at launch. Anytime I see Street Fighter 6, there's so much stuff happening on screen and content wise, I have no idea. So Street Fighter 6 is coming to Switch 2. We have next here the incredible looking Daemon X Machina Titanic Scion comes out September 5th. This looks cool, man. The previous game looked cool. This game looks cool. I'm a sucker for mechs, and this game looks like a real cool mech thing. So,
I wonder if they're going to do like custom controller for it, like they did with the last one.
oh my god, that controller was so cool. Yeah, get on it, Hori. You're killing it over here. Next up, Split Fiction. They had Yosef came out to say like, "Hey, Split Fiction, a 2-player thing, great for everybody. If you loved It Takes Two, you're gonna love this one." I was like, "Well, there's probably not a better a way to sell your ostensible sequel to the best-selling game of a really long time in It Takes Two." So that's coming out as well. EA came out to say like, "Hey, by the way, EA Sports FC
Both
and Madden
games.
coming to Switch too." It's like this year, and they're like, "See you later, bye." So who knows? They're coming out at some point.
Hold on, did they seriously use that it's in the game thing for
They
the
sure
Switch
did.
versions of EA Sports games? Because categorically, that has never been the case for the Switch versions.
Right, that's right. Skipping over a game because transphobes are terrible. Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3 and 4. They showed off a bunch of gameplay of this, which looks like those games. They showed off a new skater, and then she immediately like jumped off of a pier into SpongeBob. So they showed that for
Of
like
course.
0.5 seconds, and then just ended the trailer. I was like, "Wait, I'm sorry. What are you? Sorry, what?" So SpongeBob is apparently in the game at this point. I have genuinely
I mean,
no idea.
I'm also not surprised at all. Like, I think it was friend of the show Chuck as well who pointed out that they made the reveal for this game
Mm-hmm.
on March 4th, 3/4.
It's pretty good. There you go. I didn't even notice. Yeah. Hitman World of Assassination Signature Edition is going to be a release game. I think that's pretty cool. Hitman World of Assassination has a lot of game in it.
If you need content, that's the franchise for you. There's a lot of content in that game.
Yeah.
It's a shame that they're not doing like a Labo version where you can use the mouse controls as like the guillotine for the thing, like in the VR version of the game.
Yeah.
Like use the mouse, loop the guillotine, the wire around, the piano wire around, and then just do a little pull back towards you.
I think
you know?
that might be a little too aggressive for
Please,
the Nintendo market.
They're
For
putting
the
a Hitman
Nintendo
game
market,
They're putting a Hitman game there.
there's a little bit of
know.
difference when you get your Super Scope and you're loading a mag and making sure there's a round in the chamber. Okay.
True.
Okay, fine. No mouse controls for piano wires. Fine.
Right. They also showed off Project 007, just saying coming to Switch 2. If you needed a reminder that IO Interactive is making a Bond game, still working on it.
Yep.
Shocking me, the only person who liked this game originally, announced Bravely Default Flying Fairy HD Remaster, a game that so many people really genuinely disliked the back quarter of. I'm surprised they're doing anything with it again. This game is great.
That's a lot of words, dude.
Yeah. Ignore the haters. This game's really great.
Yeah. It's a really cool thing.
Yeah, it's a really cool thing. You have to deal with a little bit of business to get to. It's a cool payoff, though. Updated menus, enhanced online, mouse controller minigames. It's going to be a launch game. They have also said that they are keeping the original dub, the English dub, which is really great because hearing a DSA Murkerger is really great throughout the entire 100 hours of that game. I don't want anyone else to go do that. They also announced Yakuza 0 Director's Cut, which is a Switch 2 version of Yakuza 0, which now makes sense why they didn't port this to the Switch 1 originally. This will have a new cutscenes in it. They just came out and said that's going to be 26 minutes of cutscenes that they're going to have here. So not a ton, which is fine. They're going to have an English track in this, which is a choice.
They didn't have previously, right?
No. They've only started doing it with Yakuza Like a Dragon, I think, had an English version. I know Infinite Wealth definitely did. But that's interesting. I'm not coming up here being a hater, but the English versions of those games has struggled quite a bit, to say the least. So, next game here, Hyrule Warriors: Age of Imprisonment. They're making a Hyrule Warriors game in that weird between time from Tears of the Kingdom, which I think is a pretty cool time frame to put this game in, and it just looks like Hyrule Warriors. So
yeah,
hopefully it has
that's
Got
the
a lot of
best place to
Macaulay
put
to
these
smash.
games. Oh yeah, there's gonna be tons of them.
hopefully it has
This is a great.
Go ahead.
It's a great timeline to put it in, where it's like a timeline that doesn't officially exist or matter. So
Yeah, and also like it's a very like fighting focused timeline too.
yeah,
So like it makes a lot of sense for that to happen. So my only hope for this is that they iron out the frame rate issues from the previous one, because that was really the only thing that was holding it down. So I think that looks pretty neat. They showed off Nintendo Switch Online expansion pack is now getting GameCube games. They showed off Wind Waker, Soul Calibur 2, and F-Zero GX. And they are going to be there at launch. And then they showed their usual splash screen of like, and a whole bunch of other ones that are coming at some point. So that will happen as drip fed like usual. All right, next up is Deltarune. He announced that episodes 3 and 4 are coming out soon. All of them are coming to Switch 2, and that is about it. If you liked Undertale, you're probably already excited for Deltarune. We have here Borderlands 4 coming in 2025, Civ 7 coming here with it's going to be a launch game. It will have mouse control, which I think sounds pretty cool.
If you've got it, use it,
Yeah, exactly. And there's something about it came out on Switch 1, which I don't think I knew, which is surprising. That feels like it's maybe a little bit too much game for the Switch 1. So there'll be an upgrade path to Switch 2. So, thumbs up. What do we have here next? WWE 2K and NBA 2K are coming to the Switch 2. When, do you ask? They don't know. Moving on to Survival Kids. It's a launch game. It's a 4-player exploration-focused multiplayer game. So, looks like a kind of like kid-focused cooperative survival crafting thing. So, looks kind of fun. Looks neat.
Yeah.
We have, shockingly, Enter the Gungeon 2 gets a very brief announcement here. New 3D art style, a little bit of a new perspective. I really didn't think they were going to make one of these, so I'm pleasantly surprised as someone who played self-admittedly way too much of that first one, but showed very, very little of it, so I'm pretty curious to see.
I love the fact that I got one of those stupid articles fed to you.
Mm-hmm.
Enter the Gungeon 2 is announced, and it's got a really interesting new art style. And like the screenshot that they used for it was the goal with the Gatling goal. But in the 3D model, I was like, well, I'm not going to click your link because number one, it's clickbait, and number two, you've literally given it away in the screenshot.
Right, like, yeah. And also, like, that screenshot of Gatling Gull, if people haven't played the first one, they're like, this game looks stupid. And it's like, no, Gatling Gull looks stupid. Because he's supposed to be, like, a joke boss, so he looks kind of goofy, but, like, if that's the first thing you see, you're like, this game looks stupid. And it's like, no, it's just, that boss is kind of dumb. Star Seeker Astroneer Expeditions comes out in 2026. I don't really know what this is. I don't know if it's a new Astroneer or like a kind of...
It's a brand new game. They announced there was an issue with the trailer, I believe, during the actual thing.
Yes.
It's more about living in harmony on a planet. It's more exploration based on living in harmony rather than the extraction based version of Astroneer.
And it looks much more multiplayer focused based on this trailer.
Yes.
Here, so that'll be cool. I think it'll be neat to see them kind of take Astroneer into another direction here. Cyberpunk 2077 Ultimate Edition is going to be a launch game. CD Projekt Red has said that this is going to be a 64 gig cartridge, so they're going to have the whole game on the cartridge. If you don't already own Cyberpunk for a song at this point and haven't played it already, hopefully this version is good, but I'm not sure if it's the best place to play this, but
yeah,
we will see. And then Square Enix announced Final Fantasy VII Remake Intergrade for the Switch 2. No release date here. Intergrade, by the way, is Final Fantasy VII Remake plus the Intermission DLC. It's just Square Enix, so they have to name it something stupid. So
yep,
that's all that it is. There's some rumors out there too that second game is Rebirth, right? I've already forgotten the subtitle. Yeah. Rebirth will be coming out there too. I wouldn't be very surprised if that would come out too.
Yeah, I mean, if they're pushing out the first one, they might as well push out the second one.
Yeah, exactly. So,
while we're on that topic, did you guys notice the new addition to my shelf behind me?
I did not. What do you got back there?
No.
He is very small.
He's very small. It's a Pikmin. Moon is reaching for.
Oh, you got the polygon
cloud strife here. It's pretty great.
Nice.
That's nice. I like that.
I've always wanted to get those, but then they were in a blind box or something like that. And I'm like,
something like that, yeah.
Dealing with that.
Oh, this guy's not anymore. This guy is officially out, and you can get him by himself. Nice. I have one more coming, who's going to be next to him. He's the one with the white hair, so I'm looking forward to that one too.
Okay.
Yes.
Naturally, Red 13 with the white hair. Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Kate Smith, dude, come on.
Yes, that's right. All right, we're moving to a sizzle reel here for a bunch of games that they're going to announce. Nitsukami, Path of the Goddess, coming out here as a launch game. Hollow Knight Silk Song coming out in 2025. LOL. Yeah, ditto. I'd love for it to happen. I don't really believe it here. Story of Seasons game coming out. 2 Point Museum comes out this year. Wild Hearts S comes out in July. Puyo Puyo Tetris. Marvel Comic Evasion, whatever that is, looks like a fun beat 'em up. Witchbrook Holiday. Star Wars Outlaws 2025. Shadow Labyrinth. The Evil Pac-Man Metroidvania comes out July 18th. Human Fall Flat 2 is also coming out with no release date. So they showed a bunch of them. Just really love that they just dropped a brand new trailer for Silksong in there of just like, oh yeah, here's some cool new shots. Anyways, coming out this year. LOL. It's like, yeah,
yep,
cool, okay.
Mm-hmm.
But how
it's hilarious because I literally saw gifs of it and I was like, okay, did they announce the release date? No, okay, that's fine.
Just still coming out this year allegedly. So,
yep,
we'll see. Next game they showed off here is a game called The Dusk Bloods from Software. This is a legally distinct Bloodborne. Yes.
Hold up. Did I just see a Professor Layton game?
Yeah, they're still coming out with a new Professor Layton game. They've been talking about it for a while, but Level 5 has been in some serious trouble for 5, 7, 10 years at this point. So I think everybody's been
I know I'm desperate for a Layton game.
Yeah, well, we just need Level 5 to stay open. Fingers crossed. Yeah, this is a legally distinct Bloodborne. I really thought this was just like a Bloodborne that they were putting out, but nope. I mean, it is, but it isn't. Wink.
Yeah.
So we have Bloodborne
from Demon Souls to Dark Souls.
Yeah, exactly.
Transition.
Yeah. So this is coming out next year in 2026. It is a Switch 2 exclusive. Based on this trailer, I'm assuming for the time being.
Open brackets timed, close brackets.
Yeah, for a year, like any of that kind of normal
I hate
stuff.
the fact that people stopped being specific with that stuff. Like, we had a good time frame there where it was like, it is a Xbox exclusive, open brackets, timed, close.
Yeah, or like, it'll be exclusive to these platforms for a year. It's like, great. That's fine.
Now everybody stopped doing it again. I
Yeah.
hate it.
Yeah. On the opposite end of the spectrum, they announced a new Kirby Air Riders game, which is, I think, kind of surprising here. It's also directed by Masahiro Sakurai, which is interesting to see that this is the next thing that he's going for. Because after, what was the last Smash Brothers? I can't keep their names straight. Melee? Brawl?
Ultimate?
No, Ultimate. Yeah.
Ultimate, whatever the last one was, Ultimate. He did his YouTube channel thing, which turned out to be a hilarious ruse, which I really appreciate. And then really hasn't been doing too much otherwise, which good. You should take a break after putting out like 5
Every
massive Smash
character
Brothers
in-
games. Like
Yeah.
you should be taking a break. So it's kind of
And we all know that he thinks Kirby is God based on the Smash Brothers Ultimate Story mode, where
Exactly.
Kirby's the only one who survives the apocalypse.
That's true.
So
We've seen it coming all along. Yeah. So it'll be cool to have another Kirby Air Ride game coming out, and I'm curious to see what that's going to be once they show it off. And the last game they announced here as part of this is Donkey Kong Bonanza, which is a weird semi-open world Donkey Kong game with destruction, like a kind of like a Donkey Kong Dig Dug thing.
like, does everyone forget about Munch's Odyssey?
Apparently,
Like,
yeah,
no.
People didn't seem to learn the lessons from Abe and Munch.
yeah.
A game with a wheelchair. Munch's
Ah,
Odyssey.
got a
There you
third
go.
one. There we go. So it's all connected. I think this one looks really interesting. I really like. This is gonna be the most divisive thing. I really like the new design they have for Donkey Kong. He looks way more cartoony in this one, which is usually an adjective I hate. But like he's very kind of outsized in this one, and looks
Oh,
kind of interesting of
here-
just him punching his way through a bunch of cliff sides and stuff.
And here's the good news for you. This is actually the new Donkey Kong. This is Donkey Kong's kid. So like
Oh,
now
not
we
know
have
that.
to go even further. I don't know if it is or not. I'm just
Oh,
assuming that
well.
this is going to be a further nightmare fuel injection into the Donkey Kong family tree.
That's right. That's right. So, not a ton of details about this other than Donkey Kong just kind of busting his way through a bunch of stuff. But I think that looks interesting, and it's neat to see them kind of taking a new spin on Donkey Kong, other than here's an incredible new kind of precision 2D platformer. So, it seems neat.
Mhm.
Man, I'm
What
down
if
for
it's
another Red
Teenage
Faction
Kiddy
game.
Kong?
Yeah, exactly. What was that, man?
What if it's Teenage Kiddy Kong?
That'd be interesting. I mean,
Is it
whoever
a
it is at
different
this point.
Kong every game?
He's got no.
Where is
Did-
it on the Zelda timeline?
Yeah, I'm sure it's the timeline, but
You should look up the Donkey Kong family tree because it's absolutely hilarious. Like,
Yeah, it
how
is pretty
convoluted
bonkers.
it is. But like Kiddy Kong is the one from like the one that looks like Donkey Kong, but wears like the dungarees from like
God,
Donkey
we're
Kong
looking
Country
at
3.
Lord of the Rings kind of family trees.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's the last
crazy,
chapter of the
dude.
Silmarillion. Yeah. Hmm.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. That's coming out July 17th, 2025, and that was the end of the stream. So we all know everything we needed to know about it, right? Except, oh wait, how much this thing is going to cost. Because they took the coward's way out and didn't announce it during the stream. Turns out, for the non-bundled version, it is $450 in the US. The version with Mario Kart World, which seems to be an $80 game, will be $500, which seems like a pretty great deal if you're going to buy it, because that seems like a pretty good savings. So that's a lot of cash, man. I don't know how to slice it other than that's a lot of money. And then kind of late breaking news in the US, pre-orders will not start on April 9th. Sorry for the dogs barking outside. They just bark 24/7. We won't be able to pre-order on the 9th due to tariffs. Nintendo just came out and said, hey man, y'all got those tariffs, so we're trying to figure out where that shakes out. You won't be able to pre-order it. And also, the version that's coming out in Japan will be $350. It'll be region locked. But you know, that's a pretty big sticker price. I've got some pretty serious sticker shock on this guy, and was all ready to try to get one of these for launch, and then I saw that price and said, actually, maybe I won't.
Nope.
Like,
No
honestly,
offense.
Well, I
Not
think
that price.
I think I could have still gotten into it, but the combination of the high price and then $80 games, I think I'm out for
but remember,
now.
Boston, back in
Yes.
the 80s, you were paying more for video games than you are today.
So sick of people already. There have been two
every
people,
time.
2 idiots I'm tired of on social media this week. The first one is we paid $150 for a Final Fantasy 3 on the Super NES. Yes, but we could afford a livable wage, and inflation wasn't honkers bonkers like it is now, and continues to grow. So like that's not apples to apples comparison. The other one has been, well, Nintendo should move their manufacturing out of, I believe it's in Vietnam right now, which will have, I think, a 45% tariff levied on it. They should just move all that to the US, and then it'll be way cheaper. And it's like, I can't begin to tell you how nearly impossible that is for 50 different no. It's it's not going to happen and get the price down. That price will go up. So
I can't remember. I think it might have been Imran who I saw post this on Blue Sky. Like, if this is what it takes for the issues in the world to hit mass populace, if this is the thing that did it, you're right, it shouldn't be.
Right.
But if this is the thing that did it, great.
Sure. Like, something has to do it, and if people realize that the Switch 2 is $450 because we pay the tariffs and not the other countries, then maybe that will finally sort of force the issue.
You know, you've already ignored all of the other red flags, which we
Right.
specifically don't talk about on this show.
Right.
But if this is the thing that makes you wake up to the red flags, fantastic. Thank
Sure.
you, Nintendo, for once again saving a generation.
That's right. So I was really expecting this to come in at $350 and kind of have a slam dunk price of this, and kind of have the higher end being at $400, and still be like, all right, it's a Switch 2, but I play all my Switch 1 stuff, and you know, it's got all the upgrades, yada yada yada. $400 is still fine. But like,
I bet you that was the original plan.
I bet
you the original plan was this can be done for this amount of money. This is what we can charge.
Yep.
And then costs keep going up because X, Y, and Z keeps happening. So
I just think, for me, I love new consoles and I love new tech, and I don't mind being an early adopter, and new Nintendo hardware is always really fun. I can't afford it, man. Like,
no,
I
can't. Like, I flat out can't.
Yeah.
The ironic thing is, I will buy one at some point, but it's not going to be for me. It will be a gift for somebody else.
Right. And like, if we buy it, maybe it'll be the second edition or the OLED edition, or it'll be something.
It only comes with an OLED or something. Yeah.
Right. But like, I'm
Also,
there. Yeah.
Mario Kart has rolling starts now. I hope they shout rolling start.
Yeah.
Well, remember, because you can race to the next.
Yeah,
race.
race to the next one. Yeah.
So that may be what you're seeing there.
For audio listeners, I just started the Switch 2 stream back over. But yeah, this is the big issue here, and I was willing to kind of stretch a little bit for a brand new console. Not
400, I would have put it on my credit card.
Yeah, 400 I would have stretched a little bit and be like, all right, I'll get the Mario Kart, and I'll play with my kid, and we'll do all the normal stuff. I like new consoles for myself, and I like new consoles for the show, because to try and we pay for all this stuff ourselves. We can go through and say, like, is this brand new console worth X number of dollars, or this thing was impossible to set up when we got set up, or this thing's just busted and it's probably not going to
happen. The way
I
have to look at this as well is, like, we are maybe a year, maybe two from the next Xbox.
Sure, yeah, potentially.
And if you think that's not going to be $800 the way things are going at the moment,
yeah.
like, that's the thing I need to think
I'm not
about.
even
I
ready
don't
to acknowledge that there is a discussion for the next Xbox and PlayStation.
Right,
'Cause
like
it's
they're far
been
enough to
too
show
long.
people. Yeah, like R&D
Yeah, and
is...
it's been too long before anyone can get their hands on them. They're still not pushing these consoles as hard as they could be.
Right.
They released a Pro version, and everyone's like, "There's maybe one game that actually pushes the Pro."
Yeah.
So it's like, I don't. How stupid.
Yeah. Yeah, so I'm bummed for a lot of reasons, but I'm also kind of bummed that like kind of can't go into a new Switch that seems great. Like a lot of these games that they're showing look really good and like graphically seem like they run really well, and you know, I think they look really neat, but there's no way, man. I don't know how to slice it. So if you're expecting us to give you first impressions of this hardware like from the kind of street level, that's not happening. Just
nope, not unless you happen to have
tools.
an uncle that works for Nintendo,
Right,
and
wants to sign up for a Patreon to pay us a living wage over there. But yeah, I don't know how to slice it otherwise. I think this was a pretty cool reveal stream. A little bummed, but
it looks great. It looks great. It's just
I'm also
I would love to play it.
I'm also
but
not
money.
surprised, and don't really blame them for kind of taking the way out of being like, we're not talking about the price right now. Nope, go to our webpage. You can hit that thing over there. Because I think a lot of it looks really neat. I think some of the new OS upgrades look interesting, especially some of the game chat and the camera stuff, screen sharing. I think looks really neat. I think a lot
That's the thing. I'm surprised how much it seems like they really listened to the complaints about the Switch, and they're like, "Oh, okay, in the next one, we'll just fix this, and this,
put
and
a fan
here you
in the
go."
dock and an Ethernet port. Like we're knocking out a lot, kind of the.
Or you guys
laundry
didn't
list
like
of
the
issues.
kickstand? Well, we'll just make that bigger for you now.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. So it seems pretty great, but the thing that matters the most is going to be the big blocker here. So
like the interesting thing for me as well is the problem is once they announce the price and the first day it starts selling at that price, it ain't coming down, not for years. Because I mean, they might change their mind. They might say, okay, no, it's not 450, it's 400. If suddenly we have a revolution, let's say, they might say, okay, we can do it for 400 now. But if it goes on sale at 450, they're never going to do that, because then you have to do the whole apology package, and here is a bunch of stuff that you got because you bought it for 450.
Yeah, what did they do that with the DS, with the like ambassador program or whatever it was? Do you remember that?
And the Switch, I believe. The Switch had it as well, I believe.
Had something like that too. Yeah. So I don't know. We'll keep an eye on it as we get closer. I mean, it's also pretty incredible. It's only 2 months away. Like I think that's a great way to announce it, of just like, here's our brand new console, here's a ton of features, a ton of games, it's 2 months away.
I also want to point out kudos to Nintendo for trying to get ahead of scalpers, where you have to have an account that was active for a certain amount of time. I don't remember what.
Yeah, it's a good period though.
Yeah, and when you do that, hey, you're able to pre-order, the Switch too. So,
and you can only like show interest in one of the two things. You have to say like, I want the bundle, or I want the kind of regular edition, and kind of put your hat in that ring. So yeah, looks cool.
They're getting there.
It's not too far off. I'm sure we will talk about this a lot more as things come out over the next couple of weeks and couple of months, as we learn about like, hey, what sort of sticks do you have? Hall effect sticks in there? We've seen some stuff from Nintendo about, here are the games that will not work at the moment on the Switch 2, or here's the ones that won't boot, or you can't finish these ones, stuff like that. And
how much wear and tear does using a Joy-Con like a mouse put on the Joy-Con?
And like, how much are the upgrade packages going to be? Like, are those $10? Are they $20? Are they more? Like, what are we looking out for stuff like that? How many more companies are we going to announce upgrades like that? Like, we got a lot of kind of pre-release console stuff that we're
a lot of questions about stick drift.
Yeah, exactly. Like,
Yeah.
A lot of questions here. So we'll be talking about those over the next couple of weeks and months, of course. And that's all of our news. That's our one big news story for the month. Yep, for the rest of the month. That's a big. We're done. I'm out of words now. Apparently,
End of show.
Yeah, which is great because we still have more to record, which is super great. TVGP.tv, where you can find and follow us. Everything, everywhere you can find and follow us on the right hand side of the page. E1M1.cash.
The ones that numbers.
Sign up there. $5 a month is a recommended tier that gets everything that we talked about at the beginning of the show. If you can't support us financially, you can do so by following, liking, commenting, subscribing, leaving positive reviews on your podcatcher of choice, all that good stuff that we talk about every week. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and watching. We greatly appreciate it. We'll see you all next week. Bye.
Oi.
Bye.
Okay, Nimp, what do you have for titles?
1 second, because I saw Pharaoh in chat put in, and the Switch 2 brings achievements. It's like, oh, really? I haven't. There's a weird thing about it that they're kind of.
Oh, I didn't even see that.
Achievements.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look.
There's a catch. Here, I'll throw it.
Of course there is.
Just because I've been doing this randomly throughout the thing, I'm gonna throw this Game Rant article in the chat. There we go. All right, titles.
All right.
Which would have been, if we were still doing predictions, would have been my year, because that's just my thing that always stays in there. I've only got a couple this time around. I have Not This 2 Weeks, All About the Hidden Blade, looks like it has more graphics, and the Korok Torture Machine.
Moon, what do you have?
Stables first. Don't Let It Go. We Are of That Age. Bleed Effect. Mouse Control for Piano Wire. And We Have Bloodborne at Home.
I have 2 weeks, question mark. This was not recorded and looks like it has more graphics. Is there anything that's standing out for you guys? I don't have like one that I'm like, it's got to be that one.
Yeah, I don't really.
Have we used Korok Torture Machine before?
We did one for sure that was similar to it when we were talked about Tears of the Kingdom, because that was like the big thing of like, look at how people are murdering these Koroks.
I don't really care.
I like We Have Bloodborne at Home.
I was
but you
just
guys
gonna
didn't hear me
say
that.
I was just gonna say I think that's one of the stronger ones. Yeah.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I said it and you guys did not hear me when I said it.
No,
And
yeah.
Oh no, I heard you.
Yeah.
I'm just good at blocking people out
We
when I'm
have
tired.
Bloodborne
yeah, it's part of having kids.
Exactly.
at.
If it's not a blood-curdling scream, I don't care.
That's right. Well, or it's like they fell down and they have that one big inhale. You're like, nope, gotta go. Nope, that's a bad one.
Oh yeah, especially it's like you hear somebody fall and then you're like, there's no sound after that. It's like, yeah, I'm gonna have to check up on
Yeah,
it.
I gotta get up and check that one. All right, I have circled. We have Bloodborne at Home. Now we figure out what Bloodborne jokes we can make.
Well, I got a couple that I can't make,
Well, that's fair.
but I think I'm ready.
Oh, okay.
I am ready.
All right, starting in 3, 2, 1. This is That Video Game Podcast, episode 911 for April 7th, 2025. We have Bloodborne at Home.
There ain't no strings on him.
Don't forget to grab your umbilical cords for the final ending. That's not a joke.
All right, thank you very much, everyone. I just looked over at how long we've been recording this episode. 5-star runtime. You're welcome. Thank you so much, everyone, for listening and watching. We'll see you next week. Bye.
Thanks, Nintendo.
Bye.